So our next step in building the oven is going to be to put the cob thermal mass layer around our sand dome. Basic cob contains clay and sand. We've determined our mix as a full bucket all the way to the rim of our clay soil, sifted clay soil, to slightly less. So a bucket filled here with sand and a bucket filled here with clay. The reason why we started with 50-50, we started with 1 part clay, 1 part sand, which I do whenever the clay soil is about 50-50 sand to clay, because that's approximately 25% total clay. So we started there, and our first mix is totally fine, but has a little tiny bit too much sand. So the clay is not quite staying sticky, which results in some fine cracking. It's not structural. It will totally stay where it is. It's not a problem. However, if we have slightly stickier clay, slightly stickier cob, it makes it easier. So we're reducing the sand from here to here. And so we've mixed them together dry. We've mixed the sifted soil and the sand together dry first, because once the clay gets wet, it gets very sticky. Once it gets sticky, it's hard to integrate sand into it. We're going to roll the tarp by pulling our bodies to roll the tarp to mix the pile. So you roll the tarp, you roll the pile, that means you can integrate. And then we're stomping on it with our feet, and that's what's actually mixing it. So our mixer is our feet, and the stirring is the tarp. And now we're just adding water, and enough water to get the clay to be sticky and create that binder. And once we have enough water, we've got cob. And we're going to make a ball. If the ball doesn't easily come apart, it's wet enough. And when you hold the ball in your hand and wiggle it, if it doesn't turn into a pancake quickly, it's dry enough. So it's perfect. The newspaper here is so that we have our sand dome underneath the newspaper. And as we start to build cob around the sand dome, the very last process is we're going to cut a door and pull all the sand back out. The newspaper lets you know when to stop digging the sand out, right? So when you hit newspaper, stop digging. Yep. So where we have the edge, same thing applies. So we want about 4 inches from here. So we're going to build, start at your low point, build out your 4 inches, and then we're just going to come up and over that brick. So we're just going to continue that 4-inch layer up and over. This hand I use as my form. I'm pushing in so that when I push down, it doesn't just spooge off, right? So I hold in with my left hand. I'm right-handed. I'm holding in with my left hand and pushing down with my right hand. So why don't we go ahead and everyone sort of get your hands dirty.
Okay. Oh! Look lively! Look lively! Don't miss!
It's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to start.
Maybe we got to pay more for that.
I know. So our next layer of material that goes onto the oven, that first layer was pure thermal mass, so absorbs all the heat energy. The next layer is going to be as much insulation as possible so that we keep the heat energy inside the oven. What I do is I sprinkle and walk on it immediately, so it's like little pieces. Because if there's like this, I'm being dramatic, but if the clump goes in big and now you try to stomp it, it's gonna, the first thing it does is the clay surrounds the straw, and then it gets really hard to work it in. That's fine, we can do it. Oh, okay. Right here. Right, so this is predominantly straw versus predominantly clay, right? We want predominantly straw. The more straw we can get in here and still have something to build with, the more insulation you have, the more heat stays inside the oven.
Attitude, David.
So I just want to show you, so this is about where we want to be. If you can get more straw, that's great. This is at when I said that point where you, okay, we're done now. We still have some straw that's integrated and then clay separate. This clay all still has straw in it. So if you get pieces like that when you're installing, just knead it together a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Toes are fair game.
You only weigh 85 pounds.
Take me all summer if you want.
I know, but still being we're doing a
Let's get an initial
because I designed.
loads on.
And just make sure we're tipping our tipping forward. Sorry to interrupt you.
This is all going to be without talking. Good.
All right. All right, we have an oven.